What's up guys, how's it going on? Thank you so much for clicking the video. I am Ayrus and welcome back to another Clash Royale video. Today we're going to talk about the most underrated cards out in the game itself at this very moment. So it's really these cards that no one is actually using up in Clash Royale. Maybe it's like maybe 50 matches that I actually can't see any of these cards. Of course there are some cards that I actually use, but then as far as a lot of people's opinion goes, it's actually a really dumb card, but then it's a really good card to be honest, because it does really do a damage. So there are some cards which I'll be explaining in a moment right now. So we'll just get into the video without wasting any time. So the first card is of course the Bomb Tower. Now can anyone say me how long, and how many matches can you actually see someone using this big old skeleton upon a tower? I personally cannot find this even after 50 matches, even after some around 50 matches. I hardly see anyone actually using this, but then to be honest, he's so much powerful, so strong, that he can actually take down so many of those troops. You put in elite barbarians and he easily take that down. He actually does area splash as well, and he's really a very good, very good defense. But then a lot of people have this misconception that the Inferno Tower, or maybe the Furnace, or the Tombstone, or anything else, the cannon, or something else, does a much better job against the Bomb Tower. But then he actually does a really great job. He can actually control against Hog Riders. He can actually counter Hog Riders, not a big problem at all for the Bomb Tower. He can actually take down elite barbarians as well. He's gonna take down Valkyrie as well, not a big problem for him. He's a really good, a good defender, along with a guy who actually can kill those troops down within no time. So I don't know why people don't understand this, and he is so damn awesome that he's just Fire Elixir, not a big problem, but then he does a really great job, and that's why I actually like it. But then I would just recommend Supercell to add in the dead damage like what you actually can see in Clash of Clans. That'll probably be an option to get the Bomb Tower back in action. The next card is this pair Goblin. Now, when it first came out, it was really cool, but then as days go by, they actually prefer the other Goblins, the pair that actually comes in with them, to actually kind of take into battle. They don't take in the spare goblins because they can easily be taken down with a zap, a equal level zap. So if you're actually attacking with a level 9 spare goblin and you have the opponent as a level 9 one, then he's actually gonna zap it on your troop, and your troop is definitely gonna die. And that's the reason why a lot of people actually don't use these pair goblins. But then I personally use the spare goblins because he is really good. If you actually can make it defending against all the troops, and if you can actually go to the tower, he at least does around 2 hits, and those chip damage can really change the entire game itself. And that is exactly what you expect from a card from just 2 elixir. He is definitely a card having, but then a lot of people consider maybe the minions, the the Goblin gang, which is just 1 elixir away from getting another 2 more cards, another 2 more cards. So a lot of people actually take in the Goblin gang instead of the spare goblins by just adding in 1 elixir. But then this guy has a lot of range, so he also attacks air troops as well. The fact that he's just 2 elixir, and also he has a really good range, so if something cannot come nearby him, then he's actually going to stand there up in the corner and actually do some damage. But then he's really cool. I pretty much taken most of the time. I actually prefer this guy more than bats, because bats, again, they're really easy, but spare goblins, I don't know why I actually like the spare goblins more than the bats. They're really awesome all by themselves. So the next card I'm actually going to say is for sure really rare. It's kind of equal to what the Bomb Tower is actually at this point. It is the Bomber. Now come on, you cannot be joking on this. I cannot see even one single guy out of maybe even 100 matches having a Bomber. You can just go to TV Royale and just take it out. There's not even a single guy out there with a Bomber. Now of course there will be a guy with a Bomber up in the lower arena, but then up in here, maybe in the Hog Manor or something, no one actually has him. But then if you didn't just see the amount of power he actually has to himself, if you can actually put in the elite barbarian, probably put in a tank in front, like maybe Ice Golem, and then put in the bomber up from behind, he's just gonna kill that elite barbarian down. He does so much area splash damage. and that is really awesome. It is around 250 up in tournament level as far as I'm concerned, and although he's in full health, if he actually survives a pack of opponents, he's actually going towards the tower, and if the opponent does not consider him as a big threat, he actually does 250 or something as per tournament standard. So oh my goodness, 270 for just 3 elixir. You can just take in maybe one shot from that, and the other shot he probably puts in the bomb, and he's actually gonna do 200 damage. Now, that is awesome for a 3 elixir card, and I personally take this guy as much as possible when compared to archers or something else that is actually 3 elixir. This guy is definitely one cool guy to have. Now, this card over here is not like used at all. It is really underrated. That's what I actually mean. It is the elixir collector. Now, a lot of people actually use it, and I know that they actually put it kind of towards the what is that, the tower, not the king tower, the tower that is in front, that kind of tower. They kind of put it behind it so they can actually rocket it and get the additional damage that's actually done from the rocket plus the the tower. What is that? Let's name it the Princess Tower. So the Princess Tower damage is going to go down as well. So the placement of the elixir collector is really important. Now, a lot of people aren't actually using this when it actually comes to maybe in the fog matter or something. You probably can see this up in lower arenas, maybe like around in Frozen Peak or something like that. But then you definitely don't see a lot of them up in the fog matter or something about like that. So the fact that you can actually use a rocket or maybe a fireball and destroy the elixir collector, but then you're actually making the opponent spend his elixir as well. So you're not probably in a big loss over here, just maybe 1 elixir when it actually comes to the loss. I don't know if you can actually do the math. Maybe it's just 1 or 2 elixir, and that definitely does cost the game. But then if you can actually get that elixir advantage, the opponent does not has any rocket or something like that, or if you place it in the middle, they're just in front of the king tower, the main tower, then actually they probably won't rocket it or probably do anything for that unless they have a miner. They can actually put that in. But then if they just don't have anything to count for the elixir collector, it's definitely a card for you to have, and it's definitely going to do a lot of damage and to give you elixirs. That's exactly what I mean. So up in our 5th place is the mirror. So the mirror, again, a lot of people actually don't use the mirror because I don't know, maybe it's just the 1 elixir bump that is actually being done by the mirror. The next time you're actually going to use it, you're going to actually get 1 more level when it actually comes to the amount of level it is, and also it's going to give you, ask you for 1 extra elixir, and that's the reason why no one actually wants to use it. Now come on, let's just think at this situation. So say you put in the spare goblins, not the spare goblins, the goblin barrel, and the opponent actually has a lock to actually counter against it, and you have another, you can actually use the mirror for the goblin barrel itself, and just put that in, and the opponent does not have any counter for it. Then just think the amount of damage that the goblin barrel is actually going to do. Just take it this way, and you can probably know the advantage of the mirror itself. Also, if your opponent does the same thing for you, you can probably put in maybe a zap or maybe a log or something like that and just get that as well. So I would say the mirror card is definitely worth it, but then I know that 1 elixir cost can actually do the game. You're actually spending in 1 elixir for the same truth, but then if you can actually understand the use of the mirror, and you definitely are on the safer side and actually get that advantage from the mirror card itself. So the 6th card is the Barbarian Hut. Now this is for 7 elixir, and he actually is gonna come in pack of 2. We're actually gonna get Barbarians. Now this is again really rare. I don't actually see anyone actually using the Barbarian Hut. I rarely see any guy actually using the Barbarian Hut, and that's really weird to see, because he actually can force kind of a pressure on the other side, but they actually can put it kind of towards the left. They're actually gonna go towards the tower and at least put in some pressure for the opponent. He actually has to put in something, or they're gonna just take in some bit of damage for that tower. So the first factor is, of course, he's gonna put in some pressure for your opponent, and also he's gonna distract the opponent. So say the opponent is coming up with maybe elite barbarians, the barbarian HUD is gonna spawn up these barbarians. They're actually gonna stay there for an extra minute over there while the tower and the barbarians actually do the damage for the elite barbarian itself. It's also the same with the hog riders and all that stuff. It actually is going to do a big distraction. Also, if they can take down the barbarian, they have to take that tower, I mean the hut as well, which has a decent amount of hit points. Again, that comes in really handy when you're actually getting just to have to deal with just a few amount of health on maybe elite barbarian or hog rider. It actually helps the princess star take them down by just actually putting in the barbarian hut as a defense. So again, I don't see any guy actually using this guy here. He is really awesome. I mean, the hut is really awesome, to be honest. It is really cool. Up in 7 we have gods. Now these guys are really good, but then they actually use maybe the goblin gang or maybe the goblins instead of this guy, because they're just maybe much better than that. But then the best feature about this guy is that if an opponent actually doesn't have anything, like if he puts in a rocket or something like that, they're just gonna break that shield and not the old troop itself. Now how awesome is that? They have to break through the shield and then they can actually take that guards down. So that means you probably have to at least take in 2 or more shots depending on the kind of angle the troop and the kind of troop the opponent is actually having. So the bomber is your opponent troop and you're actually putting in a guard. The bomber has to put in at least 2 shots for the guard itself, and if the opponent is having maybe a peck or something like that, for sure it's going to be a big counter for him, because he needs to take in around 6 shots for this 3 elixir card. Now if it's an awesome card against maybe graveyards or something like that, they probably cannot put in anything for that itself. Although they put in a fireball, it's not gonna do anything. It's just gonna break their shield. You probably have to go through again and kill them down. So guards again is really cool, but then no one actually uses it. So the next spell is the clone spell. Up in the 8th position we have the clone spell. Now a lot of people actually use this with maybe a golem, a balloon, a lava hand, or something like that. But then the best use of the clone spell, as far as I'm concerned, is with the giant skeleton, because he's just going to do how much? 700 for just level 1, 700 plus 700, 1400 of damage as he dies. So he's gonna actually have a dead damage that's gonna really blow up your mind. For level 1 of this giant skeleton, he's actually gonna do around 700 or something like that. Now how awesome is that? You just have to say me, how awesome is that? He's actually gonna do 1400. If you can actually get the giant skeleton to that tower and you can actually put in the clone spell, it's definitely gonna do a job for you. So clone spell, again, a lot of people actually don't use it because I don't know why. I definitely don't know why, but then they didn't bring it. So up in 9th place, of course, we have the man himself, the giant skeleton. Now you definitely have a big opponent over here. So the P.E.K.K.A, a lot of people actually consider the P.E.K.K.A the giant skeleton or something like that. I mean the P.E.K.K.A against the giant skeleton, or maybe a giant itself. But then the main factor, the key factor about the giant skeleton is that he is a tank, of course, and then once he dies he's actually going to do dead damage. A lot of people don't realize this because the giant skeleton actually doesn't make to the tower. But then if they just see the amount of hit points that actually goes away once the giant skeleton dead damage is done, they for sure will fall in love with this card itself. I definitely did fall in love. I actually did do a lot of him, a lot of deck with him. I actually did clone him at the very end and actually do around 1500 damage. And it's pretty much done. You just have to get in maybe another push and it's gonna probably kill the old tower itself. And that's why I actually love the giant skeleton. He is really awesome all by himself. You just have to take him towards that main tower, and if you can actually have a tornado spell and you can put in the tornado to pull in all the opponent troops kind of near the tower, I mean the main tower, I mean the princess tower, whatever you are taking in, then it's definitely going to help you a lot and take that tower down itself. So the last troop is the Sparky. Now a lot of people say that the Sparky is really dumb. I don't care, whatever you say, he is really dumb, but then come on, you just cannot say that. If you can actually put in a tank in front, like maybe the giant skeleton, I actually used this strategy and did work out really great for me. And you probably put in the giant skeleton up in front, and then if you can actually put in the Sparky, for sure all the ground troops are gonna go down. All the ground troops are gonna go down, no doubt of that. But then it's a lot of investment over here. Make sure they're actually putting in the giant skeleton kind of towards the back, put in another 6 elixir, and then you can actually get that Sparky as well. But then the strategy really works out, you guys. It's actually gonna do a lot of damage. The Sparky is gonna kill down all ground troops, and if you can actually put in maybe the minion, or maybe the minion horde, or maybe a baby dragon, it's gonna deal against hair troops, and it's pretty much done for you. A giant skeleton whose dead damage is crazy. A Sparky who all by himself can take that tower down with just 3 shots, maybe 2 shots. And the baby dragon is gonna do air splash for ground and air, and it's gonna really come in handy. So these are the 10 cards that I actually think are really underrated. Of course, these cards, I don't mean that no one is actually using them. Maybe some of them use it, but then if you go and ask someone that has this card or has that card, they probably say it's really dumb or something like that, without knowing the fact that it's really good, the fact that you don't know how to use it. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did think this guide is almost kind of relating to what you think, do leave a like. Also subscribe to the channel for Clash of Clans or Clash Royale content. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayrus, and I'll be seeing you next time. Until then, goodbye.